Thank you everyone for coming. Good morning and welcome to Smith Playground. I'm Kelly Lee. I'm the Chief Cultural Officer for the City of Philadelphia and the Executive Director of the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy. I want to thank you all for joining us to celebrate the unveiling of MVP by Brian McCutcheon and to the official kickoff of the City of Philadelphia's 60th anniversary of the Percent for Art programs. MVP's unveiling is a historic moment for our city as it welcomes the city's first freestanding statue depicting an individual African American girl. This new artwork, commissioned through the Percent for Art program, is also the newest of the Percent for Art 60, the name of the 60th anniversary campaign that highlights 60 years and 60 pieces of the city's most significant public artworks. As an African American female, I am so proud of MVP as it depicts a young person of color female figure. These are characteristics not traditionally reflected in sculptures and statues around Philadelphia. We are so proud that when children and teens come to this playground every day, they will see and be inspired by this powerful sculpture that looks like someone in their community. My hope is, like the Rocky statue, MVP will become a local destination where people will come, replicate the pose, take photos and selfies, and if only for one moment, feel like an MVP themselves, the most valuable player or the most valuable person. I would like to acknowledge our creative duo, Margot Berg and Jacques Liu from the Office of Arts and Culture, who were the spearhead and led this particular Percent for Art program. I also would like to thank our partners from Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority, Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, the Make the World Better Foundation, Councilman Kenyatta Johnson, and the media support that we receive from the Office of the City Representative. Thank you all for your role in unveiling of MVP as part of the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the City of Philadelphia's Percent for Art programs. I'd like to now introduce the artist behind MVP, Brian McCutcheon, to share his inspiration for the creation of this amazing piece of public art. Brian?
Hello. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. It's been a real privilege and honor to do this. Obviously, I need to thank the Office of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy for the opportunity. Make the World Better, who is an amazing partner in this. The Parks and Recreation Department and the folks here at Smith who have been so welcoming. My crew back at Ignition Arts in Indianapolis, who assisted in the fabrication of the project. And then Scotland Jackson, who is my model, who is an athlete, and her family in Indianapolis. So I came to do this project by responding to an open call. I happened to see it advertised and knew immediately, since I spent a decade here in Philadelphia, that I wanted to try and be a part of the project. So I came to Philadelphia in 1995, following graduate school, to really start my career and start sort of figuring out that life. So Philadelphia was a huge influence to who I've become as an artist and business person. I am connected to this neighborhood in South Philly. My first house rental in the city was at 5th and Snyder. My music teacher was right around the corner here at 17th and Wolf. My wife and I got married while we were living here. We had a son while we were living here. And so again, the city of Indianapolis has had a huge influence on my life. I think there are some similarities, believe it or not, between Philadelphia and Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a city of monuments, second only to Washington, D.C. And like Indianapolis, Philadelphia is also a city of monuments, most of them historical. And so once I had received the commission, I wanted to try and address this in some way. And to me, after my visits to the park and seeing the amazing renovations that they've done here and learning about the type of people who use the park, it seemed to me important to make reference to the type of monumental athletic sculptures that we see around the city, especially down at the stadium parks, likes of Mike Schmidt, Joe Frazier, and Julius Erving. So my takeaway on that was, since it's a small South Philadelphia park, we should be honoring the athletes who perform here. And so that led to the idea of doing a basketball player of the age of the kids who use the park. It was also important to me to pick somebody sort of middle school age, that transition between adolescence and adulthood. It seemed like a turning point and an important focus of the project. The site here had an influence, like this was the location dedicated in the call that they wanted to be addressed. It is sort of a fork in the road, let's say, from the entrances of the park, and it seemed like the pose that I chose, which is a basketball player kind of at the top of the key, maybe has just received the ball and is about to make a decision on the next moves that will happen, that will define that moment in life, is sort of the point of the sculpture in the pose. I think that I need to talk about another influence that's also an Indianapolis connection. One of the reasons that I wanted to make an image of a person of color has a lot to do with the fact that in 2011, an artist named Fred Wilson, who's a MacArthur Genius Award winner, had a project in Indianapolis called E Pluribus Unum. And the controversy that surrounded that project obviously was in my mind when I started thinking about monuments in this city. And so that was a big influence. And the other thing about this is that I wanted to make a symbolic connection, sort of depicting the rise of the underdog, right? Like South Philly is sort of trope, is Rocky and the underdog coming to be successful, and so there's some of that in this sculpture as well. It's I consider even though this is a pretty direct, figurative, monumental bronze work, I do consider myself a conceptual artist. So I came to this image through those ideas rather than having a history of creating figurative work. And so finally, I want to thank everyone who has been involved in the project for the opportunity and how welcoming everyone here at the park and the community has been to me since we've started installing the work. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Brian. This public artwork was commissioned as part of the recent renovation of Smith Playground. I'd like to introduce Catherine Ottlevel, Commissioner of Philadelphia Parks and Rec, to talk a little bit about that project. Catherine?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Smith. Hi. There was as Kelly said, a really incredible transformation that happened here at Smith Playground not that long ago. It was just last year that we celebrated the completion of a over $3 million renovation of this beautiful park and playground and rec center into this incredible facility that is just an incredible testament of what the power of public space can do for a community. This transformation of Smith Playground was done in great partnership with an organization called Make the World Better Foundation. And Make the World Better, I can't say enough about this organization and the work that they do to transform public spaces throughout our city. I want to acknowledge Connor Barwin, who is here with us today and one of the founders of Make the World Better. Connor leads an incredible team of committed individuals, including Jeff Tubbs and Claire, and I think Ken is here as well. And we're just so grateful to them for not just raising all those funds to make projects like this happen, but for just being committed, not just to the project, but long after the project is complete, and being here for events like this says so much about that organization. This beautiful sculpture, and I'm sure it's beautiful, although I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it is, Brian, is, I really appreciated all of Brian's words, because it really is a testament to this community, this playground, and hopefully an inspiration to so many of the young people who are here every single day. I want to acknowledge the kids from Smith Playground Summer Camp who are here, and also the Boys and Girls Club from across the street. These are the young people that frequent this space. These are the young people that are going to look to this sculpture and think that someday that can be them. And we don't see that, as Kelly said, in the sculptures around the city right now. I was shocked to learn just a few years ago that I think there was only one or maybe two sculptures of women anywhere in the city of Philadelphia. I think that maybe this is the beginning of having a sculpture of a young woman, or specifically a young woman of color, in every park and public space in our city. What do you guys think? Be a good plan, right? So I want to thank Kelly Lee. I want to thank her great team who helped make projects like this possible. Of course, Margot. Our park system is not just a place of recreation and activity. It's also an outdoor museum. We have projects like this, sculptures like this, all over our park system, and it's an incredible history that exists, and I'm so thrilled to celebrate that history and to celebrate the great future of this art program throughout our city. There's great work that happens here at Smith Playground every day. I want to thank the great staff who helped make that happen. Mike Mychek is our rec leader. Who could forget Mr. Ron? Where's Mr. Ron? Wheeling around somewhere. The mayor of Smith Playground, and their wonderful team who keep kids safe and happy and fed and healthy here every single day. Thank you guys so much for all of your incredible work. We are thrilled to host this sculpture. We'd love to host more. I thank Brian, the artist, for his incredible work and for the inspiration that will come for many generations through this important work. Thank you so much.
Great. So as I mentioned, this unveiling is part of our 60th anniversary, and it's really the kickoff of a lot of activities that we will be having from now through the end of the year. And just really briefly, I just want to touch base on other really cool things that will be happening. Starting tomorrow, if you go to Commerce Square on Market Street, you can participate in some public art trivia on the big jumbo screen. So that's going to be a pretty cool project, and we can thank Brandywine Realty Trust for that. Starting tomorrow again, there will be an interactive map where everyone can take self-guided tours of the public art that is in every neighborhood throughout the city of Philadelphia. We're going to have a social media scavenger hunt where people can sort of find the Percent for Art 60 pieces, take photos of themselves, and be entered to win really cool prizes. We're going to have an exhibition on September 19th at the Center for Architecture and Design. We're going to have an amazing panel discussion in November with some of our public artists to talk about the role of public art and how it has changed. And we will be announcing soon a really, really cool project with History Making Productions and Sam Katz. So stay tuned for that. And so there will be there's information about all of these programs on this little Percent for Art 60 postcard at that table with information about all of the initiatives I just mentioned. So please make sure you grab one. I would like now to introduce Brian Abernathy, who is the Managing Director for the City of Philadelphia. And this is a leader that we are all lucky to have because he clearly understands the impact of having art in every community, and he helps to make it happen. So, Brian?
Thank you, Kelly, and good morning, everyone. This unveiling isn't just a special moment for Smith Playground. It's important for Philadelphia as a whole. Art is a reflection of who we are in a specific point in time. And MVP is a monumental celebration of Philadelphia's youth. And as we look at this time, celebrating our youth, encapsulating our optimism and our steadfast resilience despite a host of obstacles that we face is something that we deserve to reflect upon. It's fitting to celebrate the powerful message of MVP during the 60th anniversary of Philadelphia's Percent for Art programs. And these programs continue to commission enduring public artworks in Philadelphia that reflect and inspire the communities that they call home. And again, reflect who Philadelphia is today. And given all of the comments that we've had about that this is a woman, that this is a person of color, all the other statues that look like me rather than look like our community that spread throughout this city, I'm proud that we're celebrating who we actually are today and not who we have been in the past. Thanks, Sheila. It gives us the rare opportunity to highlight the stories of our citizens, of our histories through our neighborhoods. I want to congratulate Brian for the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, and most importantly, the community members that are here today that really do make this community, this neighborhood, and Smith as special as they are. It's now my honor to get ready for this unveiling.
So can I ask Margot, Jacques, Connor, and Mr. Ron to come up and join us too for the unveiling? And if you can all go behind the sculpture. I'm going to do a countdown, and on that special count, you're going to know what to do, but let's wait for everyone to join us. Wait 1 second. Great, you want to come right over here? Great. All right, I'm going to do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, unveil! Woo! Great.
Right, and on the count of 3, say MVP. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
MVP!
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job, guys. Good job. You got it?
Take some more. Hang tight a little bit. Hang tight a little bit.
Good.